I'm live. I hope your weekend was good. I hope y'all had a chance to go to church yesterday. It was great for me. We went over Psalm 51 yesterday. Fantastic. It was awesome. The Psalms of Lament, what people call it. The most important part of that psalm is realizing everybody was born in iniquity, but that's not what I'm here to talk to you guys about. I'm here to actually talk to you about lipstick, underwear, and politics. Somebody may be saying, what the hell does that mean? You know, when I had my talk radio show years ago, we focused on economic issues and issues of politics. And one of the most prevailing issues would be spending. Like, there's these economic indicators of recession and depression and how you can tell what's going on. But we've always made it real simple, because our show was phenomenal and got syndicated because we actually read the environment and how people around us were spending money to decide what was going on. So, and this is going to sound crazy, when you find out that women are not buying high-end dresses, high-end bags, but they're spending a lot of money on makeup, you know you're in a recession. Point blank, period. Because women won't go buy the high-end dress, they won't go buy the high-end bag, they'll just buy more lipstick and more makeup to make themselves feel good. And then another way you could tell is when men just stop buying underwear, because nobody see them anyway, so they wear underwear until they get holes in them. So one of the signs of the economy, from a ground standpoint, where the economy is on the ground, is if you see your wife not buying fancy dresses, handbags, and she's just focused on her makeup. And when the husband says, I'm just going to wear these drawers till they fall off my behind. And I submit to you, that's the situation we find ourselves in right now. And the weekend, as I've told you guys, is when talking points roll out. It's over the weekend down in Brazil. And I'm going to tell you who to watch on the news to see what the talking points are going to be for the week. There were two very significant people that rolled out this weekend in politics. Two very powerful, influential people that people don't know how powerful and influential they are. Cedric Richmond rolled out onto the talking points of the news, which he was being vetted for the VP candidate for Kamala Harris, which I didn't think it would work because you couldn't have him and her. And then Donna Brazil rolled out. They all rolled out from a perspective of trying to kind of justify the talking points that Kamala was taking, where she started stealing, a lot of Trump's talking points on the economy, saying stuff like, we're going to do tax cuts for the working class. We won't tax tips. We won't do this. We won't do that. Hold on. Good. Hold on a second, guys. All right. And so when you see them roll out in defense of her talking points on the weekend, you know that that's going to be a set of talking points that she's going to settle into. And they had to come out and defend it. So you're bringing out the best. And when I tell you these are the best political operatives to defend these talking points, and they fell apart the same day. You know what I'm saying? They fell apart the same day because just like someone said, why don't you do it while you're in office, or why haven't you done it while you're in office, was the response to those talking points. Now, if you recall, I said this Thursday or Friday. I said there's no talking point that she can put out as a political part of her political campaign on what she is going to do or how she would do things better, because the rebuttal is simple. Why haven't you done it already? So you can't make a promise as to what you're going to do. Everybody, could y'all hit the like button, please? You can't make a promise of what you're going to do in the future because you're still in office and you still have the ability to do it. It would have been better if she would have started trying to implement it and then said, this is what I'm going to do in the future. But when you see Donna come out, when you see Cedric come out, when you see Jim Carvell come out, and all of them are trying their best to push forward these talking points and defend these talking points, they're indefensible. You can't defend them because the person is in power and in control. I told you guys Friday, I did a video and I said, who's really in power? Who's really in control? And I said, it's my belief that the Department of Defense is in control, or the deep state itself as its various entities are in control of this nation. And then you saw Saturday, they came out with videos of Joe Biden sleeping on the beach. But there's war all over the world, but the existing president is sleeping on the beach. The other vice president is campaigning. So you know there's another entity in control of the nation. And anybody who has enough sense can see these things. I mean, if you just look at it for what it is, you can see what's going on. And so we're in a very dangerous situation because there's nobody that can be held accountable for the decisions that are being made. And they've arranged it to where there's no real accountability. You know, Joe ain't hitting on nothing. So can you blame Joe? Yes. Is it going to hurt anything? No, because we got the excuse. Joe's not mentally fit, but he's still in office. You see Kamala's campaigning. On top of that, you see Kamala's really not that intelligent. So it goes again to one of those things to where spiritually, it's the nation's fault, the situation that we find ourselves in. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it boils down to. Because people are not paying attention. Then you saw them go to the rallies this weekend. If you really pay attention to regular media, social media, you'll go to see what happened at the Kamala Harris rally when they started to ask people questions about Kamala and Tim Walz. And people just brought up facts, common facts. The people going in didn't know those facts, and they had to reevaluate in that moment. They were under the impression, they're attacking her because she's a black woman. Then when people started bringing up the true facts, the people said, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I didn't know this. And so it goes to show that section of the population who's either chosen to be willfully ignorant, because you can choose to be ignorant based on pride. I want to be right. Even though everything around you proves that all the evidence, empirical evidence around you proves that you are wrong and your decision is wrong and the decision that you made was wrong, they still want to be right. So you got a portion of the population who's that. You got a portion of the population who's voting based on race or skin color. You got a portion of the nation that's voting based on gender and gender politics. And what I mean by gender politics is the idea and concept of women's rights. The women probably have more rights in America than they have anywhere in the world. I had a conversation over dinner. Was this Saturday? It was Saturday we went out. We're at this bar, real high-end restaurant, super high-end restaurant. And the lady sitting next to me just wants to talk about politics. And she asked my opinion on what's going on in politics. And I give her my opinion. Blew her mind. She's just sitting there like flabbergasted. Because I'm a black person, I'm supposed to think the way everybody else thinks. And I go on to explain to her, because she's talking about, what about women's rights and this and this? I said, what we need to do with people like you is we need to take you and drop you in Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia or one of these places where the rights are nothing compared to women's rights in America. I said, then you'll understand that what you perceive to be a problem, although it's not perfect, it ain't nowhere near what it could be. And then you get a taste of what you're ushering in. Now her husband is sitting there and he's kind of shaking his head like, yeah, he's right, he's right, he's right. But it showed, it again confirmed what I had been saying about the relationship issues inside of the existing politics. You have men who, for example, if you find a household with a strong man, I don't care what color that man is, they're not going for the Democratic Party. Point blank, period. Because they see it for what it is. And so they're sitting there explaining to their wife or their significant other, no, babe, we can't do this because of this, because of this, because of this, because of this. When you find the inversion where the woman is the breadwinner in the household, it's inverted and he's afraid of those emotions of his wife. So therefore he may even know the truth, but he ain't really contending with her over the truth. And those kind of things are major issues. When you get down to the base level of what's going on, it's that dynamic that's an issue in America. And it's pervasive in this country, and it's going to get worse under that Kamala Harris Waltz administration. And I told her this as well. I said, you know, these people don't believe in free speech. And I said, by the time you realize that what they're doing is wrong and you no longer agree with it, it's going to be too late for you to speak out against it, because now they're going to be sending police to your house to arrest you because you made a post on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. And she said, that's not possible. So I take her to the news in the UK and show her the news in the UK where they're arresting people for their Facebook posts. And she's shocked. I mean, utterly shocked. That she's like, that's not right. You can't do that. Yes, but this is what you're inviting with your emotions, because everything she said was an emotional argument. And that's the nature, unfortunately, that's the nature of women. Women were made the emotional beings out of men and women. Anybody doesn't believe that, then you're just crazy. That's the beauty of them, of a woman, is that same emotion, that same passion, when it's harnessed the right way and pointed in the right directions, it will make a man better. It'll take a weak man, a broken man, and repair him with that same love and attention and that same emotion. When it's pointed outwardly towards the environment and it's affected from outside influences, it's kind of charged up and used as a bomb and it explodes. And so when we look at what's going on, if you look at the simplest thing there is, people want to make everything so complicated. You look at the simple things all around you: lipstick, underwear, and relationships, you'll see the truth. And it's really just that simple, because the whole of politics is basically built up of the relationships of man and woman, neighbor and neighbor, business partner and business partner. It's all about relationships and how people are relating to each other. That's why they use divisive tactics to divide people, because if there's communication amongst people, then word spreads. So, for example, one of the things she said was, well, Trump is a racist and he don't care about black people, while we were sitting there. And I said, I don't think that's true at all. I haven't seen any evidence of that at all. Instead, I said, and quite frankly, I've seen to the contrary of it. And I explained why. But she had never heard of any of those things. For example, this woman didn't even know that there were historically black colleges and universities. So if you don't know that, because you don't talk to black people, you don't know that there are historically black colleges and universities, then when someone says, oh, well, he gave money to historically black colleges and universities, that just bounces off your mind, because you're not aware of the presence of those things. And those are some of the talking points I told her. I said, look, I understand where you're coming from. And bro, and I tell you, this is a swanky hotel. You're talking about $6,000 a night to be in this hotel. So I'm not talking to Joe Blow, working man. You got paper if you in here. This ain't no cheap place. So we're talking to the upper echelon of people. But she didn't know that. She didn't know it at all. And she was like, well, I give money to this cause and this cause and this cause. And I believe you. I don't doubt it at all. I believe 100% you do. You strike me as that type of person. Because she didn't strike me as a bad person at all. She just struck me as a person that just didn't have knowledge and understanding. And she said, well, if I'd have known that, I'd have been giving money to those colleges and universities. Yeah, that'd have been a great idea. But she don't know. And so, um, what ends up happening is what people don't know bites them in the behind. You know what I'm saying? But it takes conversations. And I said earlier last week on Monday when the market was crashing, by Tuesday when they wiped out the market crash data, and some clown was in the comments. He was like, Monday wasn't a market crash. I'm like, how the hell is this not a market crash when historically 500 points drops was a market crash? 1,000 points is not a market crash. $2 trillion loss is not a market. I'm like, man, y'all people, some of y'all people crazy. They just, and it's indicative of people who want to be right. And see, that's what this boils down to. There are people who just want to be right. They don't really care about the truth. They just want to be right in what they're saying. And that's what really is destructive. I don't care if what I'm saying makes sense. I just want to be right. I want to win the argument. But they don't understand you wanting to win the argument only leads to the destruction of you. Most of it leads to the destruction of your family. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, people got to get past, I want to be right, and actually get to the point to where what you're saying is right. The information that you're accessing is right. And that's what it boils down to, man. But I'm telling you, if you want to see, there's a reason why they have Sunday morning talk shows, political talk shows. Even though they are ineffectual, even though, for example, in the course of a week, the Dark Waters channel gets more views than they would get on a Sunday morning. There's videos on my channel that got more views. There's shorts on my channel that's got more views than they would get in a year on the Sunday morning talk shows. But those Sunday morning talk shows are where everybody sits to get their talking points and to see how the talking points work and then hear the rebuttals to the talking points. And so that way, when it's rebutted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you use those rebuttals the best you can. So if you want to see the talking points for the week, check out Sunday. Nobody watches Saturday. That's why they do them Sunday morning. But nonetheless, it's really about having the right information and making the right decision as opposed to just having wrong information and emotionally trying to say you're right or lying to yourself and saying, I'm right, this is wrong. And that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem that you ever run into. You know what I'm saying? The biggest problem that we're running into, and that's the biggest problem we're going to keep running into. And so everything is about getting the right information out to people so they can actually be right in their decision-making process. And if the meter tips over to where more people are making the right decisions based on the right information, this nation will be fine. Now, there was another thing that happened this weekend. God is handing out dreams like Skittles. I mean, he's literally handing out dreams like Skittles. Like, you know how Skittles taste the rainbow and they show the commercials where the rainbows are and the Skittles are falling out the rainbow. I know 4 people who had the same dream. These are individuals that I know personally. And then 3 other prophetic people from YouTube who all had the same dream of a masked man doing like face covered, all black tactical gear at the Democratic National Convention, scaling walls to actually do active shooter, to become an active shooter. And so if you're a praying person, then you need to be praying against that. Because the way God gives information is in dreams so that you can, most people think when you have a dream that comes from God, it's like, oh, I had a dream. No. If you have a dream and it's something disturbing, then you wake up and you pray on it immediately. I mean, point blank, period. So let's say you have a dream that you're in high school. Again, you're in a classroom in high school, which is a dream about delay and lack. I mean, you're going into a season of delay. You wake up, Lord, I'm not going into a season of delay. I'm not going back to high school. I graduated high school 40 years ago. I'm not going backwards. I'm going forward, for the word of God says we go from victory to victory in Christ Jesus. Boom. I fall out of agreement with that because the dream realm is real. So when the Lord starts giving dreams Just like he gave dreams about the assassination of Donald Trump, just like he gave prophetic words about what would happen in this election. But when he starts giving people dreams about the Democratic National Convention and there being some type of assassination attempt or whatever, not the Democratic National Convention, DNC, and there being some kind of assassination attempt, then people need to be praying against it. And somebody may say, well, DW, I don't like them people. Why would I pray for them? Because God gave you the dream. Point blank, period. And if he's giving you the dream, if you understand dominion on this planet and shared dominion, then he's giving it to you because you're one of those people that will pray. And he knows, okay, this person will pray about it. So I'm going to give this to this person because they're going to pray and present it to me and invite me in to deal with that issue or that problem or that situation. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a lot of people. That's 4 people I know. I can't tell you who else have had that dream. But it's something very, very important. I don't expect the rank devil heathen to understand that. But if you're a child of God, I do expect you to understand that. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Understand that. So I think that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And the sad thing is, after something goes down, is when people want to pay attention to it. Before it goes down, I mean, if you had people praying against a lot of this stuff, it wouldn't happen. And I'm convinced of that. So take the opportunity to pray against it, because something clear is going on. Other than that, I'm getting ready to get in here and make it happen. I've had to change my approach to YouTube content creation because YouTube is, I experienced something weird. I did a video. Now you guys know I'll do videos ahead of events, and they'll sit there and I'll let them go through YouTube's vetting process and just sit. I've said this before. So like right now there's 5 videos just sitting that are done. I put the monetization on them and did everything that needs to be done to see if YouTube is going to flag them and say anything is inappropriate and bada bing, bada boom. So it went through its checks. And what they did on a couple of them was they went back, and it was insane because they found some smaller things that, I mean, it just didn't make any sense. And it was like, oh, we got to limit it because of war. But the clip that was used was something that was on YouTube that it was from a news channel. And it's like, okay, so I told him, I said, so the news channel can show this and it's not a violation, but I show the news and comment on the news and it's a violation? That don't make no damn sense. That don't make no sense at all. And so I'm talking to my rep and I'm like, look, bro, this is crazy. So this news channel can show this exact same thing and it's on YouTube. There's no issue. I take that 20 seconds from the news, use it, comment on it, and it's a problem. But I'm not adding anything to it or taking away from it. And even he said, yeah, man, that's weird, bro. He's like, this is stupid and weird. Let me see what I could do. So it makes sense because their rules are subjective. And a lot of times when you're just telling the truth, bro, they play games. You know what I'm saying? You know. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But nonetheless, so you'll see them hitting because now they're stacking up in the hopper just to make sure they can't play. I mean, they stacked up in the hopper, so it's going to go way more. Probably 3-4 of them a day as opposed to 2 a day because they just stacking, waiting. And we're just going to run them. It's just going to be what it's going to be. Because when you have a system in place like that and then they still become subjective to what they're saying, I mean, you can't play by rules that are moving. You know, rules are not supposed to be fluid. But in a case where you're playing a football game and they move the goalposts, then you just keep scoring touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Remember the Titans, the movie, when the coaches was against the team and the head coach was like, hey, are you trying to cheat my boys? He's like, make her remember the day. Blitz all day long. That's what you got to do at that point in time. You just got to blitz to the end because there's nothing else you can do. And I'm damn good at blitzing. I'm really good at blitzing. So it's one of them plays that's all you can do. You can bust your move and keep it moving. You dig? Bust your move and keep it moving. So let's go ahead and blitz. I'm interested in seeing what happens in the news today. Tim Walz is on his heels, as I said. I thought he dropped out by now, but he's on his heels. I don't even understand how he's gonna stand the onslaught that's coming. There was videos and images on Twitter where they were breaking down the AI people in the crowds at the Kamala Harris rally with the photos. That was crazy. I don't know if you had an opportunity to go see that, but the usage of AI with people with 7-foot long arms, 3 fingers. Anybody who's ever played with AI imagery, you know AI is not perfect, and you know it'll give you like you'll be holding a cell phone and it'll have 3 long fingers that wrap around the cell phone, or your neck will be extra long, or the head will be shifted to the right of the body. Man, when people started breaking that down, that was crazy. I mean, it was absolutely insane. It was totally and utterly insanity what we were seeing. And so there's a lot of buffoonery going on as it pertains to social media right now. But the funniest thing is the same people are using it are trying to stop other people from using it, but they're using it. That's the craziest thing. Hit the like button for me, guys, so I can know y'all still there, because YouTube is on its non-chat, not allowing people to chat type stuff. It's just pure insanity. Thank you. I see y'all still there. Yeah, I mean, it's pure and utter insanity, man. The level of manipulation that's going on. So, anyway, I gotta go holler at my partners in the office. Got a little gift for them I'm gonna give them. And then I'm gonna sit down and knock out my wizard and blitz. Full court blitz. Ray Lewis type blitz. You dig? Peace out.